In Chapter 6, we're going to cover some concepts in pre-algebra to get you ready for the algebra chapter in 7. We're going to be covering sign numbers, exponents, and square roots. Addition of sign numbers. Sign numbers on a number line become greater as you go to the right and lesser as you move to the left. Numbers to the right of the zero are positive numbers, and to the left of the zero are negative numbers. Generally, these are all called signed numbers. Positive numbers are indicated with either a plus sign or no sign, and negative with a minus sign. To indicate the ordering or relative size of numbers, there are symbols called inequalities. The inequality with the arrow pointing to the right means the number on the left is greater than the number on the right. The inequality sign with the arrow pointing to the left means that the number on the left is less than the number on the right. Looking at the number line, 4 is to the right of 1, so 4 is greater than 1, using the inequality with the arrow pointing to the right. Negative 4 is to the left of negative 1, so negative 4 is less than negative 1, using the inequality with the arrow pointing to the left. The sum of signed numbers can be thought of as the net gain. Positive numbers are a gain to the right, while negative numbers are a loss to the left. For instance, when adding 3 plus 4, both are positive, so you would move 3 to the right, and then an additional 4 to the right, giving you a net gain of positive 7. But if you're adding a positive and a negative, the negative would be counted to the left. So if you add 4 plus negative 3, starting at 0, you would go 4 to the right, and then 3 to the left, giving you a net sum of positive 1. To add two negative numbers, both would be losses to the left. If you wanted to add negative 3 and negative 4, you start at 0. You go 3 places to the left, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Then you go 4 more places to the left, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. So the answer would be negative 7. When you're adding sign numbers, if both numbers have the same sign, either both positive or both negative, you add the numbers and give the final answer the sign of both of the numbers. If both numbers are positive, you add them and give the answer a positive sign. If both numbers are negative, you add them and give the answer a negative sign. 5 plus 6, both numbers are positive, so you add 5 and 6 equals 11, and the answer would be a positive 11. Negative 5 plus negative 6, both numbers are negative, so you add 5 and 6 is 11, but since both numbers are negative, the answer 11 has a negative sign, so the answer is negative 11. Most, if not all the time, you're going to be using your calculator to do these calculations, but a word of caution. Use the minus sign with parentheses around it key for the negative sign and not the minus sign on your calculator. If two numbers have opposite signs, subtract the smaller number from the larger number and give the answer the sign of the larger number. In the case of negative 5 plus 6, 6 is the larger number and it has a positive sign. So you're going to subtract 6 minus 5. The answer is 1. The larger number 6 has a positive sign, so the answer is a positive 1. If there are more than two numbers, add all the negative numbers and add all the positive numbers, and then follow the rule for adding two numbers. Subtract the smaller sum from the larger sum and give the answer the sign of the larger number. An example, negative 5 plus 8 plus 11 plus negative 21 plus negative 9 plus 12. First, add all the negative numbers. Negative 5 plus negative 21 plus negative 9 is negative 35. Now add all the positive numbers. 8 plus 11 plus 12 is 31. The larger number is 35, and it has a negative sign. So 35 minus 31 is 4. The larger number 35 has a negative sign, so the answer is a negative 4. Subtraction of sign numbers. From basic arithmetic, you know 5 minus 2 equals 3. And from the rule for adding sign numbers, you know that 5 plus negative 2 is going to also equal 3. So from this, you can see that 5 minus a positive 2 equals 5 plus negative 2, which equals 3. This means that subtracting a positive 2 is the same as adding its opposite, negative 2. A couple of examples, 5 minus 5, you know that equals 0, and it's the same as 5 plus negative 5. So you're adding the number with the opposite sign, and that equals 0. 6 minus 2 is the same as 6 plus negative 2, which equals 4. Now, how about subtracting a larger number from a smaller number? The same rule applies about the sign, but when a larger number is subtracted, the answer is going to be negative. 5 minus 6 equals 5 plus negative 6, which equals negative 1. You subtract the smaller number from the larger number, and you give the answer the same sign as the sign for the larger number. That's the rule we went through. What if we subtract a negative? 5 minus negative 6. This is the same thing as the addition of the opposite sign. So 5 minus negative 6 is the same thing as 5 plus positive 6, which equals 11. The rule for subtraction of signed numbers: rewrite the subtraction as addition of the opposite sign and then follow the rule for addition of signed numbers. Be sure you use the minus operation key on your calculator for subtraction. Don't use that negative sign with the parentheses that you use to identify a negative number.